Welcome to Frankie the Podcast, the companion podcast to the trans visibility animated film, Frankie the Magicorn. This first batch of podcasts will consist of interviews with a number of trans individuals who want to share their stories and contribute to the project. Today's guest is the voice of Frankie himself, Dorian Michael Gray.
Welcome back to Frankie the Magicorn. We have with us today...
Frankie!
Yay! It's
Frankie
Dorian
and
Mike.
Friends.
And that's our eventual show. There you go. I mean, we're doing one short. I don't imagine it'll turn into anything. Unless Logo gets a lot of animation money. I don't know. Building off of the success of what cartoons are... Like, there's Super Drags on Netflix, but that show's kind of horrible. I'm sorry. I mean, hell, one of my favorite shows is Futurama, and it is not going to age well.
No.
Especially in gender issues. And
I don't know.
yeah.
Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss with them. Like, because I've seen episodes where I'm like, that's a good concept. And sometimes I've been like, ooh.
I love the episode Newtopia, but where all the characters accidentally get their genders rearranged by this rock alien. But it does kind of... it kind of minimizes and makes a joke out of something that a lot of people spend their lives trying to do.
It's very true.
Yeah. We've got Frankie here.
Yeah.
Dorian. He's been a friend. When did we meet?
We met. Oh goodness, was it AWA or was it 221BCon?
I don't know. I'd like to hope our friendship precedes 221BCon.
I think it does.
It does. Yeah. AWA probably.
Yeah.
221BCon is lovely, and I
meet you at Crispy's party?
Probably Crispy's party.
Yeah.
Crispy's one of those great geek Gatsbys that everybody knows.
I'm glad that term's like making its way around.
That's
now.
right. That's your term.
It is.
Thank you. I'm like, where did I hear that? From you, you beautiful man.
It comes from all of us that have like been going around the con circuit since we were children, and now we're like getting to be in our like late 30s, early 40s, and we're just like. We know everyone now, so we walk into a room and everyone's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like
Norm for people who know that reference.
And everybody who knows us, and they're like, "How does everyone know you?" I was like, "I've been around that long."
Yeah, I made an emote of myself saying, "I know everybody."
Yeah.
And I reply that when people's like, "What? How do you know Justin?" I'm like,
"See, you've got the emote." And my response is always just Nerd Gatsby.
Yeah. Let's see. And like Sabrina Pandora, another great Geek Gatsby. She's been interviewed previously on this, and she's one of our, I'll say, main contributing writers and the likely voice of the transition fairy. We're still going to work out all the script plot points, and I'll go over them with you after the interview.
I'm excited.
Dorian actually didn't know much about this project before I called him in today for the recording.
He gave me the outlines, and I was like, I'm in. I don't care what it's about. I'm in.
What does Frankie look like? Well, let me show you.
I didn't even know what the character looked like when I come in to record.
And the characterization of the character is probably going to change a bit now that I know what he sounds like.
Yeah, that's also a testament of how much of faith I have in you, though.
Yeah, like I knew what I had all these images about him, and also I'm I'll say the head writer, but it's going to be a group effort. Collaboration manager. It's going to be a collaboration. Yeah, I don't want to act like I'm in charge of everything and that I'm the only one. So
no, you're not.
I serve the realm. There
Indeed.
you go. That's one of my favorite expressions that I've gotten from Varys. Is that I have my own ideas, but I'm going to have to change them a lot. I'm going to kill my darlings a few times to make sure this is right, and I'll be doing that with. Please give us your name and pronouns, please.
Dorian McGee, and it's going to be Gray eventually.
Oh my God! You were originally a McGee?
Uh-huh.
I love that. Okay, I don't know how you feel about McGee.
So it's my original name from childhood, and I had a married name before, and then I got divorced, and then went back to McGee because when I got married, so that's a problem that I didn't know was going to be a thing when you have same-sex marriage. We tried to pick a name, and they didn't tell us we couldn't, so they just didn't let us pick one or the other, so we both kept our original names and just didn't tell us.
I'm sorry.
So, it doesn't look like we're married on paper. I mean, it does, but we've separate last names.
Yeah, well, I mean, some heteronormative couples do.
Yeah.
Just hang on to their last
Yeah,
names.
it's true. But like when you see two dudes and they have two separate last names, like it's society just like, oh, you guys are buds, right? And we're like,
Tango and Cash. I didn't know you were married.
so separate checks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, my apologies for the sound of air conditioning. I do want to do a good quality podcast, but it is also, we are recording this in Atlanta, and it is May.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get any easier.
Minimum 70 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh. Another reason I wish I'd started this 2 months ago. Then we could have launched it on Trans Awareness Day. And then there was Unicorn Day 2 weeks later.
Unicorn Day.
I know, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, lovely Lisa Frank unicorn shirt that you're wearing today, Dorian. Thank you.
It's my birthday present.
It's your birthday present?
Yeah,
Oh, what was
my
your
birthday
birthday?
was the 23rd of last month.
How old are you? Or never mind.
37.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good job. And that's why you're Dorian Gray.
Yep.
Because you don't look it. You bastard. Oh, what are your aspirations? What do you want to be?
I want to be. Oh goodness, that's the eternal question, isn't it? My wants and goals change with the tides of the earth. I just want to be an artist. I want to be a creator. I want to make pretty things that people admire and enjoy.
Thank you. Also, an actor.
Yes.
Yeah, which is one of the other main reasons, because I wanted to cast somebody who was trying to develop their brand.
Yes, I do.
So-
I want to be I want to contribute.
And you've got this great distinct voice.
Ah,
that
thank
would
you.
work really
Yeah.
well for Frankie.
I've done radio and podcasts in the past, and I really enjoyed doing it. And because I have a 9 to 5, I haven't had the opportunity to do so much. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you. It is hard.
It's a niche, thing.
Yeah, I got to jump back. Oh, hey, I need to talk to you about Voice 123 sometime.
Absolutely.
Get you auditioning on my account.
Absolutely.
Cool. Hobbies. How do you
Right.
unwind? What do you do?
What I do for hobbies. I'm a cosplayer, and I really like ball jointed dolls. I have too many of them.
What cosplays are you working on right now?
Right now, I am working on Riku from Kingdom Hearts, Sykes from Kingdom Hearts, Prompto from Final Fantasy 15, Connor from Detroit Become Human. Those are the ones that I'm going to have by MomoCon.
Wait, at the time of this recording, how far away is MomoCon? Like 3 weeks?
11 days.
11 days!
No, 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, so it's
Yeah.
14 days.
Unfortunately, I was too lazy and I didn't get my requests in the MomoCon, so I'm not a guest this year. No sketching with Sketch this year.
I've actually been promoted, and I'm the director of signage for MomoCon, so I have another 100 signs to create before then as well. I've already created 275 signs.
So you've taken the time to kindly join us today for an audition and also for recording the pitch promo for this cartoon.
And then I'm going to go home and
you're
work
gonna
on
go home
signs until I pass out.
and work on 100 more signs.
And then I've got to get in contact with my promotions, with my volunteer team, and make sure that their schedules are all made out. Yeah.
And make how
Four
many more
four
costumes?
cosplays. They're
4
almost done,
cosplays.
though. They're almost done. I just got to take in the vest, and Riku's done. Sykes, I've got to hem the jacket, and I've got to put together the prop sword.
Fun.
Yeah.
I am so lazy this year.
And I have 8 unfinished dolls
Okay.
that I haven't touched.
Name 2 of them that you have in mind. And these are the
Yeah.
hinged dolls. What kind of dolls are these?
They're ball jointed dolls, so they're like the resin dolls that you string together with elastic string, and they like kind of like the anime Rosen Maiden, and like they're really cool. They come blank and they're completely customizable. So you paint them, you make their eyes, you make their hair, or you can buy them. But the reason I got into them is because they're so customizable. So I make all the stuff for them. I make their clothes, I make their eyes, I make their hair, I paint their faces, and make them all into whatever I want. So I've got a whole bunch of them, and but I have 8 of them that are unfinished, and they're not cheap. So I've just got like 8, very expensive dolls that I haven't worked on in, a year.
You've got a lot to do. Yeah. Thankfully.
Like my current ones, I've been making into Link, Zelda, and Ganon.
Oh, okay, cool.
So.
Yeah, I saw them on your cover page. I just wanted you to elaborate for
Yeah,
listeners.
absolutely.
All right. What was your childhood like? How did your identity shape?
Okay, that's fun. So probably so obviously assigned female at birth. So my mom really liked putting fluffy dresses and frills all over me, which is really awful for me when I was a kid. I always wanted to play with my dad's G.I. Joes, and always wanted to play with the other boys, was what I would always say. Even when I was, barely able to speak, I'd always be, when we would play X-Men, I'd always be Gambit. When we would play Legend of Zelda, I was always Link. I'm
so sorry about the loss of the new Gambit movie.
It's all right. It's okay. Kurt's really my true love. Nightcrawler. I love him. Anyway,
Das ist gut.
yes, very much. So I just didn't know, there wasn't much awareness about it when I was a kid, and so I didn't know what to call it. I just thought, I was a tomboy, and then when I got to high school, I thought I was a lesbian, and I just wore more tomboy stuff, cut my hair short, all that fun stuff, had a girlfriend, got locked in my bedroom when my mom thought I was gay, wasn't allowed to go to school for a couple of days. It was pretty rough.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So probably about college was when I found the word transgender on the internet one day when I was just on Tumblr of all places.
Tumblr is great for that.
It really is. There's a lot of good things on Tumblr. There's a lot of bad things on Tumblr, and it's hard to filter between the two. But this particular bit was an informative piece. It just kind of, mentioned the word, and I was like, I don't know what that word is. So I Googled it, and I was like, oh, well, I didn't even know what that was. And then I started looking up medical information about it, and I started, being like, oh, well, shit, that was me. And I was in a very abusive relationship at that time, and so I wasn't able to do anything other than identify. And so I talked to them about it, and they said, oh yeah, sure, that's what you are. Yeah, I believe you. And then that was it. That was as far as they'd let me go with it. I'd be like, oh, can I go see a doctor? They'd be like, oh, look, we don't have any money. Or, oh, well, I'm the only one who'll accept you for this, so you don't need to go to anybody else. And it was pretty bad. So I didn't get free from that. It was a 12-year relationship. We were married for 12 years. So I got out of that about 6 years ago, and I moved here, and I met my current husband.
Oh,
and
tell us about it.
He immediately helped me get in touch with the right doctors. He helped me get a therapist. He helped me get all the certification I needed for my transition. He helped me get on hormones within 6 months. This was even before we started dating. He helped me get on hormones.
Can you say your lovely husband's name?
Oh, yes. My husband, Matthew.
Matthew.
My sweet, adorable baby.
He is adorable.
He is so, so wonderful and caring and kind and the best at adulting.
Oh, God. Yeah, everybody needs one of those.
Everybody needs one of those.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
And, he just was there for me in ways that I never knew a human being could be. And helped me become the person that I wanted to be, the person that I felt that I was. And it was the greatest thing ever.
And we're grateful for him for that.
Yes. That was really deep and long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, everybody says that. Everybody apologizes for giving long answers to these big questions that deserve long answers. What do you think I'm going to say? How was your childhood? It was totes cash. Thanks for asking. Next question.
It was totes cash. I did have a lot of good memories from my childhood. I played Star Wars with my dad. He let me be Luke Skywalker. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. My mom was always the one that was shitty about it. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. We recently, not to dog on my mom, in the last 3 years, she got over her bullshit, and if you can cut the curse words out, I'm sorry. She got over her stuff, and she's made up. She's been doing her best to start reconnecting and try to be better. She's not perfect, but she's trying really hard, and I appreciate her for that.
Aw. You just answered 3 questions.
All right,
we're tearing through this. Who are some characters or celebrities or whatnot that you wanted to be like when you grew up?
When I wanted to be what I grew up. Okay, let's see. I really, really, when I was a kid, wanted to be Leonardo DiCaprio so bad. Because he was just a little bit older than me when he got really famous, and he was super hot, and we had really, really similar facial structures. And I was like, oh, dude, he's not that far from me. Like, when I was a teenager working...
Oh, yeah, he's a Dorian Gray, too.
Yeah. Like, and so when I was a teenager, we looked really, really similar. So so I would, like, see him in all the teen magazines and see what he was wearing and always copy whatever he was wearing, like his trendy clothes. Yeah.
Side note, when I asked this of the Frankie this is based on, same guy.
Same with Leo?
He wanted to be like Leo because all the girls liked Leo back then.
Yeah.
Titanic Leo.
Yes.
Oh, goodness me.
I totally gave my girlfriend a Heart of the Ocean for Valentine's Day, the year Titanic gave out, and she was not appreciative. But but I was like, oh, this is the coolest, 16-year-old me can get.
Can you tell us about your experience with binders, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I didn't start binding till I was in my early 20s because I didn't know that was a thing you could do. And that's when I got into cosplay. Well, I started cosplaying when I was a teenager, but I didn't know you could...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The dog's going to run in a second. This is her food song. There's my Marla.
Hi, baby.
Please pardon me. I'm going to go make her dinner
Feed the
real
dog.
quick.
That's fine. Do you want to pause the recording?
Nope.
Okay.
Pupper. Pupper supper.
Oh, pupper supper.
Pupper. Pupper supper. That was me feeding Marla.
That was the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Yep. She's a pit bull featuring Ludacris. Anyway.
We just recently taught our dog how the word crunch. So when we look at him and say, hey, buddy, do you want to munch the crunch? He runs to his bowl.
Nice.
So
whenever I sing that song, that's when Marla knows it's food time.
that was the most adorable song ever. Oh, hey, it's a Leonardo DiCaprio over there. Anyway, okay, binders.
Yep.
So I started binding when I figured out about crossplay. And I started like reading out about how like different techniques people use for cosplay, and like, oh man, and I was like, I had like 38 C's, so so I was like, so I found out people used ace bandages, so yeah, right. I didn't know binders existed, so ace bandages.
Yeah.
So I ace bandaged myself pretty regularly for costumes. But I didn't do it for regular everyday thing until I got my first binder, which was just like a really cheap one I got off of Rakuten, which is a Japanese website. 'Cause I didn't even know that they were available in America for a while. Yeah, right? So it was this little, like, really not very flexible thing that had a zipper on the side.
Ooh.
It was not nice. But I wore it pretty regularly when I worked for the state of Tennessee for 10 years. And it was not comfortable, but when the dysphoria is so bad that you just like can't look in the mirror, that you kind of just ignore the inability to breathe and the itchiness that it causes, because binder itch is a thing, man. So I never had any like bruised or broken ribs because of it, but the thing that I will say is I have permanent rib damage from it. My rib cage is shrunken on the top and larger on the bottom because of it. So I've got this really kind of weird divot in the top of my chest that's never gonna go back.
How would you describe dysphoria to someone who has never had to experience it?
It's kind of hard to explain. I'll do my best.
Sure.
So it's like, because I know the words like you feel like you're in the wrong body come out a whole lot, and that's the easiest explanation for it. But it's a little bit more neurological than that, and it's a different level for each person. And because I've met people that don't experience it at the same level I did, and I've had people that experience it at a much more severe level than I did. And there's different ways to counteract it. But I would say that it's something that you look in the mirror and it looks like a stranger. It doesn't look right. It looks like, I wouldn't say it looks like a complete stranger, but it's like something's just off. And something's like not the way it's supposed to be. Like if I change just this one little thing, or if I change something else, then I'd be okay. Or like say like one of your buttons is like buttoned into the wrong buttonhole. And you're like, you try to fix it, but it's still buttoned in the wrong buttonhole if you try to fix it yourself. Like if you need to pop it off and sew it into a different place.
What are some of the most laughable things you've heard from people who are ignorant of
I had a guy
experience
completely walk up to me while I was at work at my last job and say, "So does your mom know you're a lesbian?" I got a beard.
I'm sorry, you look like you look like a cis male.
Yeah, and I'd been passing for a while when that happened, and I was just like kind of shocked when that happened. And I do realize that I'm one of the lucky ones. Like not everybody, because testosterone affects everyone in different ways, and some people pass a lot better than others, and I definitely feel fortunate. The only thing that gives me away is I'm short.
Some trans men totally Robin Williams out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I'm Wolverine under here.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the ones that shocked me. I had one guy. My boss at that job was not too good. 'Cause I had two bosses through that job. The first boss, he was there right when I started testosterone, and so I was transitioning, and I still had like a second soprano voice, and I hadn't had my surgery yet, and I was like, look, I went into his office one day, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a really tough conversation, but I need you to listen to me. This is what I'm doing. I know it's going to be weird, and I know it's going to be rough, but this is what's going to happen. I need you to do this. This is going to be the best way to handle it. So I need, like, it's going to be boy pronouns. You don't got to change my name. I'd already changed my name by then. Like, I changed my name before I did anything else because I figured that'd be easiest. Also, changing your name in Tennessee is a lot easier than changing it in Georgia.
I'll tell you about my experience. It was relatively easy. But I don't know if there's also cis privilege attached to that.
I have no idea. I'll tell you about the DMV in Georgia, man. That was...
Really?
That was a something. Anyway.
Again, I might either been lucky or coming from a place of cis privilege.
the getting your gender marker changed in Georgia.
Oh, that's different.
That's completely different. And we'll get there. I'll tell you that story. So I told my boss, I'm transitioning from female to male, and then that's when he told me he wanted to hire me because I was a girl, as a designer.
Because there was a dearth of
to have diversity in the office, and I'm like, sorry to disappoint you.
Sorry to disappoint you, but good news about diversity.
But he didn't see it that way. So
pretty good.
Well, that was good on his part, but then
what? You're a dude? That's not diverse at all.
Eventually, he didn't see it that way, but then like a couple of weeks later, I hadn't even started, like my voice hadn't got scratchy or anything yet, and he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna still call you a girl. And you're still going to use the girl bathroom because I don't want to scare the customers. And I'm like, yeah, but this is going to happen no matter what. So get ready, but like, okay. And so I was like, all right, whatever. That was like the most awkward thing that ever happened to me. Was like, he's like, I'm still going to call you a girl, and we're still going to do this. And I was like, and he's like, and I'm still going to let the employees call you a girl. And I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, that probably wasn't the most ethical thing of him to do either.
No.
But
or to flat out say it.
He's not in the country anymore, though, so he fled the country. It was an interesting job. Yeah. But,
he fled to, I have no idea what the trans experience is like outside of America.
It's not good in some countries. The country he's from,
okay.
It's not, they're not respected very much. And they're mostly seen as just transvestites. So
there's a question to add to my thing. Where is a good place? What's a good vacation spot for trans individuals? I mean, trans individuals.
Vacation spot? I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't been out of the country since I transitioned. I need to get my passport still's old.
I need one. Yeah,
I want to go back to Japan and see what it's like, but I don't think I pass, so it's not going to be a big deal for me. So that's something to think on, though.
Just people aren't going to walk up and point to you and go, "Nani?"
Yeah, it's like,
which is one of 3 words I know.
男と女は誰?
Yeah, you're fine, dude. Oh, what was okay? So before you transitioned, you made a mental list of things you wanted to do post-transition. What was on that list?
Oh God, those aren't family friendly.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that is an answer in itself, and more power to you. We'll
and
talk
I've done
about,
most of those. Okay.
We'll talk more about that on Frankie the Magicorn After Dark. We actually, Taylor wants to, or had some other follow-up stuff about the sexuality.
Yeah.
And we'll do a follow-up
Cool.
podcast about that sometime.
Nice. Yeah. It's nice to get all that off your chest, so to speak. I wanted to go swimming without my shirt on.
Nice.
Which I have yet to do.
Oh.
I'm really shy.
Oh.
Oh, wait, I did once. It was just me and my friends, but I did it. I haven't done it in public yet.
Oh.
But I have done it.
Cool.
Because I was wearing my mermaid tail. And there's a picture of it on my...
Merman.
Yeah, my merman tail.
Merman. Damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry, a friend of mine, Gina, who was interviewed previously, used that line all the time
My
in
merm-
Rocky Horror.
my merm
and
tail.
It's stuck in my brain.
It's a merman.
It's like how
merman, Dad.
It's like how anytime someone says my wife around one of your friends, they always say,
What have you done to my wife?
no.
Yeah.
Borat.
I have not seen that.
You've heard people go, my wife!
Oh, no, I have not.
You haven't heard people... In all the geek circles you travel, you haven't heard people go, my wife!
I have not.
Be glad. Oh, so my last interview with my longtime friend Gina, on my way to visit her and play board games with her and interview her, my spouse, female, who is my wife, and I were listening to a podcast where they just kept doing my wife jokes, and we're like, is this come around? Is this it's not tedious anymore? It's come around, all right. So we ourselves joined in.
My wife.
And then we asked her one of the questions, who was most supportive of you in your journey? And she said, oh, well, I guess I'd have to say my wife. And we just looked at each other and went, don't do it. My wife. So my apologies.
We always do the Dracula thing now because of Castlevania. So we say, "What have you done to my wife?"
Oh,
every
okay.
time.
Would you tell us the story of your medical and surgical transition, if that's okay with you?
Yes, it's actually a sad and happy story at the same time. Because transitioning is a very expensive and not medically covered thing, or not insurance type covered thing. It's considered cosmetic under most insurances, so it's not covered by almost anything. Yeah, that face, that angry face.
I was going for sad. I really got to work on my faces.
Well, it was the glasses thing. That's the
right.
the Megane.
There you go. Megane!
Megane! So my grandmother on my father's side passed away probably about 2 years after I moved here. And unbeknownst to me, I got an inheritance that was enough to cover both me and Matthew's surgeries. So we both got top surgery because of that. And it only covered that, but that's fortunately that was what we both wanted. We don't feel that science has gotten quite far enough for bottom surgery yet, and
yeah, that's what I'm told.
Yeah, and anything that they do down there would probably take away the ability to orgasm, and gosh darn it, I like sex. So
isn't it great?
Yeah.
Oh my
right?
God.
Fun story. I didn't know how awesome it was until I got divorced.
I'm sure you're not the only person who's ever said that.
12 years of bad sex.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I had 6 years of good sex. So, So, it's good. It's a good thing. So, it immensely helped with my dysphoria. Confidence through the roof, health Like you'd be imagine how much self-confidence and like the lack of dysphoria helps you with your health and your mental health and everything.
Also comfort. I mean,
Oh, my-
look at you're wearing a regular cotton T-shirt right now.
This is one of like in the last year I've started not wearing a hoodie. I used to wear a hoodie because I wasn't wearing a binder for like just because I was so used to wearing a binder every day of my life. I just needed that extra kind of security.
Like a
Security blanket type thing.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
a weighted blanket. For,
Yeah,
for that hood
because I was used to wearing so many layers. I'd have a binder on every single day. So after my surgery, I'd just wear a T-shirt and a hoodie because I was like, I can't go out in just a shirt. I don't feel secure. So I had a hoodie on, even in like the 100-degree weather. I would have on at least a light hoodie. So I like only in the last couple of months I've just started wearing a plain old shirt.
Right on. Like you look super comfy.
I am.
Welcome to male privilege. Yes, thank you for posing for our cameras that
Posing
are
for the
here.
cameras that don't exist. I mean, my hoodie's right here, but I'm.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm without it.
Yeah. I'm honestly only wearing this the flannel that I have here because this sweet Purple Rain T-shirt I have has a hole under one of the arms.
That's cool. It matches. It's nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that was intentional.
It does get really cold in my office at work. And
Oh, yeah. What is your advice for trans children?
Please, go see a therapist. Get diagnosed. Get them to help you find the right prescriptions, find the right doctor to help you, find the right surgeon to help you. The chain of correct doctors is the best way to help you get to be the person that you need to be.
What is your advice for cis allies?
Asking questions is not wrong. It's not offensive to be curious.
Caveat, though. Questions about genitals.
Don't ask that.
Yeah.
It's not your business. Do not ask about what's in your pants. Asking the right questions is not wrong. It's not wrong to be curious. Some people don't care if you ask what's in their pants, but it's still rude. It's still rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess those
But
are
if you're friends with them, like,
It seems to be the basic rules from
Yeah.
Dame Cox.
don't ask a stranger.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I've been calling Laverne
Yeah.
Cox Dame Cox because
Yeah.
in the context of this, it seemed appropriate. So my plan for this is to ask for a little more money so that we can afford to do this, but also would like to donate 10% of what we make to various trans charities. Are there any trans charities you feel would be...
Oh, God, I wish I knew any off the top of my head.
All right, well, you can get back to me.
Okay, cool.
Or if
I'll-
they come
I'll do
back to
some
you later.
research. Yeah.
If you come back to me, if like a couple come back later in this conversation, just be
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to say it again, and I'll re-ask, and it'll flow
right.
naturally.
I'm bad at remembering the names of charities.
Yeah. I can't remember any of my medications.
I've got it written down on my phone. My medications
Smart.
are all written down on my phone.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah, like I've got like one of those sticky note things on my phone that's got all my medications. It's got all of my emergency contacts. It's got all of the songs that I mean to download in the next month or so. Like anytime I hear a song that I really like, I write it down in my little sticky note thing. It's got like the orders that I like at all the restaurants that I like. I have got hardcore ADHD, like so bad. So I have to write down everything.
Yeah, I think I'm currently on Lilliput and Shazam. That's it.
Lilliput and Shazam. And
There you go.
there's some great words.
Brombadinganyangian. I studied Jonathan Swift. Let's see. Has anything changed about your tastes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So, this happens to most trans guys, but testosterone makes you crave salt.
Really?
Yes. So you're going to want fries with all the salt. You're going to want salt on your steak. You're going to want those potato chips. You're going to want salt straight out of the packet. You're going to want that soy sauce with the extra sodium. I'm not going to lie. All that salt.
On that note, how did the 3 H's treat you?
What are the 3 H's?
The 3 H's?
Oh, yeah. 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 Hungry, hot, and horny?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, always hungry. Like, I've gained 30 pounds. But luckily, your fat redistributes immediately. Like, your hips fall off.
Oh.
Your face falls off. And your hairline recedes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like, I've got, like, a nice widow's peak going on now. So it's
No,
not,
you look like you have a full head of hair.
Yeah,
Do you have a bald spot yet? If you don't
No,
mind me asking?
no, I
Cool.
Fortunately, because all
I
of the
shouldn't
guys.
have said yet. I'm sorry.
No, I was worried about it because like all the guys in my family have bald head, And and like my brother is 2 years younger than me and completely bald.
Oh.
And I was like, it's gonna happen, so I'm waiting for it, and it didn't happen. So
Thank
I was
God.
like I was living in fear for like 3 years. But like, because I was just like watching every day, watching the hair go back, and I was like, no.
No, you got a nice standard young person hairline, bastard.
Fortune smiles.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I eat probably about twice as much food as I used to. Yeah.
No more sandwiches.
Yeah.
Man-wiches for you.
Yeah. I don't like sweets anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So I used to eat like a lot of sugar and a lot of chocolate, a lot of ice cream. Love pudding. I don't like that much anymore. Like every once in a while I'll have like a thing of ice cream, but I don't like cake, and I don't like cookies, and I don't like I don't like eat sweets anymore. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Following up on this, did you ever know dogs or something like that before the transition, and then they acted different around you afterwards? You know how dogs they usually tend to like women or men?
No.
Because of like Marla's more comfortable around dudes for some reason.
You know.
Yeah. Did I just explain something you weren't thinking about?
Matthew's dog hates girls, and Matthew's dog only liked me and Matthew. And everybody else in our house he hated. I never put that together. There you go. His old angry Chihuahua.
I'm sorry. I was on board until you said Chihuahua.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still hate. Yeah, it was all right. It died at a ripe age of 15 and was angry and ugly.
The little ones last a long time.
He was so mad all the time.
I'm so sorry.
So mad.
You guys should meet my mom's dog. She's adorable, but she's a Chihuahua, but the kind that jumps like really high.
It was an apple-headed, deer-legged Chihuahua. It was like a freak. It looked like Dobby. It looked like Professor Lupin when it transformed into a werewolf.
My God!
It was a
That
terrifying
sounds amazing.
chupacabra. It was so bad.
I love it. I need pictures.
I'll show you pictures later. It was great. Let's see. It's so hot. Yeah, all the time. I used to always be wrapped in blankets, and now I want to be naked whenever I'm at home. The AC is always on like 65 instead of 72, and I'm in my underwear. Yep.
Yeah.
And I sweat a lot more than I used to.
Yeah.
A lot, and it's very stinky.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's what men's deodorant's for.
I know. And those like carbon inserts for your sneakers.
Yeah.
You know.
I had to learn about those. I didn't know those existed.
I discussed my own self.
That's all right. I mean, it's part of the wonders of being a man.
Yeah.
I also didn't know about all the hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't know about the hair up your butt. That was a new discovery for me.
Again, my apologies.
Yeah, that's
Invest in a bidet.
yeah.
They're great. They're only $30.
Yeah, that's probably the worst thing about transitioning.
That's the worst thing
the hair
about
on your
transition.
butt. That's it.
Forget all the stuff you have to deal with society-wise. And prejudice.
It's the hair on your butt.
It's the butt hair.
Forget everything else. It's the hair on your butt. All right. And then the horny, yes. All the time. Every time. You can't walk down the street. You can't look at a pair of billowing curtains without thinking of negligee.
So did you have trouble? Let me preface by saying I'm sorry to.
I had no idea the urge that men have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's so hard for us because male privilege, but
it's
it is
so
quite
hard.
difficult.
It is, and I literally want to write an essay on it.
Please.
Because from a female standpoint, girls are like, why don't guys just not think about it? And then and I can from the point of being a female and thinking about it, it really is that easy just to not think about it.
Well, I'm sorry. I shouldn't try to correct your
biologically when I was a female.
When you were an individual who didn't have testosterone in the levels you currently do.
Yeah, like that. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm cis-splaining it. That's shitty. Please continue.
It's all right. You're trying. It's okay.
I'm trying.
It's trying. So back then, from that standpoint, when the way I felt, I could totally just shut it off, right? It wasn't like an urge. There was never any kind of like physical need for sex at all. And the second I started taking testosterone, like probably about a week after, that was all I could think about. It was all I wanted. It was everything. And I was single at the time, and that was rough. That was rough.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was rough. It led me to my marriage. I'm not even gonna lie, because originally Matthew and I were just gonna have like a one night stand, because I was like, "Yo, dude, this is a lot. This is a lot," and he was like, "Yeah, this is a lot." And then it turns out we were way compatible more than just like that, and so we ended up staying together.
Forgive me for asking.
Yes.
Is Matthew trans? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. It's something I never ask. Like, I never just come out and ask this of people, because I've realized recently a good comparison is like going up to someone and going, "Are you secretly Canadian?"
It's really hard to.
It doesn't matter,
like, and you don't want to do it like it's kind of like if you're like in a situation where you're like, like you want to think there's like a secret handshake or something, because like I'm trans too, and you want to be like, "Hey, yo, what up?" Because like I'll see people at a con and I'll be like, "I think they're one," but I don't want to be like, you know, and like rub elbows or like secret handshake. Be like, "Hey, I share your pain," you know. But on the other hand, you don't want to be like, out.
It's like, say that pattern right there, that female symbol that you're wearing is great, but what if there was 2 arrows coming off of it and one of them had a crossbar?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
That happened to me at a con once. I was like trying to talk. I was trying to be like really subtle about it, because I know like I completely pass 100%.
You do.
So I'm like, "Hey there, friend," you know, trying to like really subtly be like, me too, friend. Let's be friends. You know, let us share together. And it just never got through. And I was just like, oh God, that's so awkward. But I mean, you don't want to be hurtful about it.
Yeah. So thank God Matthew was there for you.
Yes, he's a miracle.
He is, from what you've told me
he
in
is,
the past,
and
and what my limited experience with him. If he ever wants to be interviewed, or do you want to interview together?
Okay.
By all means.
He has expressed interest.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of drag?
It's a beautiful art form.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the community is a little mixed signals right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I really can't comment on it.
That's fine. That's totally valid.
Yeah. Because I have a lot of I have some drag friends that are wonderful, and I have some drag friends that are not wonderful. So it's a little bit of both.
And I was casting shade at that cartoon that was on Netflix, but that's because I
haven't watched it.
Watch episode 1 and you know what I'm talking about. Like,
all
one
right.
character saves a bad guy, pulls him out of the water, but before, I'll say she does it, she gropes the guy. And like, no, who's doing this? You're making them look like predators. Oh, it was made in South America. That explains it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Has someone saved your life?
So many people have saved my life. A lot. I have a friend who, when I finally got the guts to leave my ex-husband, she basically let me live on her couch until I had the means to move to Georgia. Iska, I love you. I have a group of friends who I've made over the years who have just stood by me, and all the stupid decisions I've made and all the good decisions I've made, they've just been there for me. And Sai and Mary and Melissa and Christian, and they're my family. And Julia and Matthew literally picked my bleeding body up off the floor last year and got me to the hospital so that I wouldn't die. And made sure that I got to the doctor and got on the proper medication, and literally saved my life.
Yeah. More about Julia.
My lovely wife, who I'm not legally married to, but might as well be because we've been together for 6 years as well. Julia is, I loathe to say the word polyamorous because it's got a stigma that goes with it. Yeah. But we've been living...
Triamorous?
A triumvirate, a triforce, which is what our wedding tattoos are.
That's right. You do have lovely Triforce wedding tattoos on your ring finger.
Yeah, I've got courage, she's got wisdom, and Matthew's got power.
Nice.
So,
I'm sure.
You got a clada?
I have a clada, yeah. Because it's easier to manage than a regular ring.
It is, and when you get angry,
showering.
and when you get angry, you can't pull off.
You
can't pull off your tattoo.
Oh no!
You can't pull off your tattoo and throw it across the room when you get mad. Julia and Matthew were a couple before I was put into the mix there. And she moved over from Japan in 2003.
And I've known her. She is amazing.
Yes,
she's just one of the sweetest people you'll ever know.
She's the most delightful glue that binds us together.
Not that it's important, cis female, just for context. I don't know why I brought that up.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful, and yeah. So she moved over from Japan in 2003, and she's been enjoying the American experience, she's been there with Matthew the whole time, just both of them helping me, get through all my weird baggage and loving every minute of it. Apparently, like. Oh
God! I just realized I cast you as a unicorn.
What?
The term for the third person who comes into a relationship, it's kind of...
Is a unicorn?
It's a stupid term.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my God.
It's a stupid, outdated term for people who don't actually get it, is my understanding.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not on the tumblers.
Well, it's fine. Like, I would say we're all three unicorns, because, like, how often do you ever see a polyamorous relationship that's successful? So when I moved to Georgia, I was content with being single forever, because my polyamorous relationship before that, which really wasn't polyamorous because there were so many rules where I wasn't allowed to do anything and he was allowed to do everything. He was a scumbag. Don't worry about it. I was really not into poly, so I was just gonna have like a one night stand with Matthew. It was okay with Julia. Julia was totally fine with everything, and then I was gonna just be on my merry way. I was just gonna keep that beautiful night in my mind palace and just go off, and literally. And
hey-oh! Sorry.
Turns out all three of us get along really well, and we all get along really well physically. So, and turns out Julia and I had a lot more in common than Matthew at the time. So we all just kind of clicked, and we're like, well, let's give it a shot.
And you've all been together 6 years, you said?
6 years, yeah,
wow.
All three of us. We just we work really well as a unit. We all work well against each other's strengths and weaknesses. We all, pick up where everyone's left off. And we communicate every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Like, we don't miss a beat. We don't keep stuff from each other, which is the most important thing in that kind of relationship. Like, that secrets ruin everything.
Yes, they do.
And I feel like that's what messes up almost every relationship like that. And it's... It seems like such a simple concept, but it seems so hard. It's really hard for others.
A relationship between two people is hard enough.
Yeah.
So a lot of communication and trust and whatnot is required, and you have to work for it. So, but you may turn that into 3 relationships in one.
Yeah.
And that becomes
you don't
a lot. That requires a lot more.
Yeah, and then you know what? It's not for everyone, and then and I hate the polyamorous people that kind of discredit monogamous relationships, because that's not cool.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to generalize. Most poly people are sensible folk who know what they're doing and know about the importance of communication.
You've had better experience than I have. I am glad.
Oh, probably not. But I just have known a lot of responsible people who can handle the extra adult relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can you tell us about your first time presenting?
Presenting as male?
Yes.
Okay. That's a toughie. It's like, all right, so...
Like the one where you're gonna leave the house, okay, this is it.
Okay, so the first time I did that was actually at Dragon Con.
Cool.
So I kind of done it as an anime character before, but I'd never actually gone out, been a dude as a normal person. So the first time I ever did it was when I cosplayed Jack Harkness. And it was my first time ever going out in my Jack Harkness costume as a man, presenting as a man. I was pre-testosterone, but I was going to do it anyway. I was terrified out of my skull. So I spent an hour putting on contouring and making sure every hair was in place and thickening my eyebrows and making sure that everything that my eyes were closer to my eyes, because when you contour your face, you got to make sure you're men's eyes are like their eyebrows are closer to like because of the shape of their forehead, and my cheeks were lower, and like my jaw was stronger looking, and I made sure that my binding was perfect, and I wasn't getting boob loaf, and like then I made sure my pants were at the right like height so where it didn't like made my hips look right, and I like made sure that I even bound my legs so that my hips weren't like feminine looking. Like I went all out. I was like, I'm gonna do this as perfect as I possibly can. And I still like stood in front of the mirror for like 10 minutes and was like, I can't do this. I can't. Like they're gonna go outside and everyone's gonna be like, that's a great femme Jack Harkness you've got, because I'd done it before. I'd gone out and tried as Han Solo before, and they'd be like, oh, that's a great Hanna Solo, and I'd be like,
I think we should. I think the rule should be if you're wearing pants, you're a male character.
Like I was like full on wig and everything. Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go. So I walked outside, and I went down to the Marriott lobby, and the first thing that happened was I met S.A. Do you know S.A.?
I might.
She's the really good Rose Tyler cosplayer. S.A. Hood.
How do you spell S.A.?
E-S-S-A-Y. Yeah. That's her, the first one.
I don't know her yet.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's her. And her...
Wow, she's a really good... Criminy. What are we on? 13th Doctor?
13th. Yeah, she's really good at everything.
She's good at everything. Yeah. Someday we shall meet.
And Ryan, who's that gentleman next to her.
Okay, cool. I know that was the... Oh, wait. Oh, that is it. Okay, that's not Dr. 10. That is him.
That's Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good doctor. He's a good everything. Look at that jawline.
Yeah, he actually passed away.
Oh, right. Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I heard about him. I think Brianna knew him.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's why he's translucent. Oh, I'm sad now. Please continue.
Yes. Yeah, so within 15 minutes, I met him and S.A., and they're like, Jack! And they treated me like Jack the whole night.
Aww.
And I was like, look, I'm all alone. Can I hang out with you guys? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You're our Jack now. Come on, let's go. And we ran around, and we were Jack and Rose and 10 all night. And it was such an amazing experience, and I felt so validated.
And that was also hard, too, because you were it sounds like you were bound and in so many layers.
I didn't even
Dragon
feel it.
Con.
I didn't even feel, and I was in a World War II wool coat. And
my God. For those...
sweating.
For those who don't know what Dragon Con is, it is... like early September is sweltering in Atlanta, and they make you stand outside in long lines for hours because it's a party con and they have to hold it at hotels. They can't go to a convention center because you have to be able to walk to a room because you've had too much pie.
Yep.
And for those who don't know what pie is a drink called apple pie, which is
apple moonshine.
Apple moonshine. It tastes like you're drinking an apple pie and then waking up on the floor of someone else's bathroom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good times.
It is amazing.
90% Everclear.
Yeah. I think a lot of folks I know use Crown Royal, I think, for the basic recipe. Like there's the standard questions, like what advice would you give 13-year-old you? But here's one that someone gave me, one of my interviewees suggested. If you could tell 13 or 14-year-old you about you, if they could, say, hear this podcast, what would they think?
You're going to be Link when you grow up. You're going to get to do it. I know you don't think it's possible now, but it's going to happen.
Hey, listen!
Hey, listen!
Anyway, what's a piece of media, book, movie, television show that does not get it? Like, most of them don't. I've definitely written things myself and worked on them in other venues that just don't get it, because most places just don't get it. What's something that stands out to you?
I mostly block this from my mind.
No, you don't have to comment. It's fine, because I have a better question to follow it up.
Okay. Let me think for just a second, see if something happens. The ADD is really bad with names. Yeah, usually when I see something and I'm like, oh, that's gross. Black Butler.
Really?
Black Butler does not get it. Grell is so badly done.
Are they a trans person?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Better question.
Mostly in the dub. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's fine. Better question. What piece of media, entertainment, etc., does get it? What are you watching like, yes, thank you? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, if you could see his face right now.
I can't think of anything.
He gave me this expression. It's like, oh, poor child. Poor ignorant child.
Sabrina.
Yeah. Oh, so you've seen season 2?
I have not seen season 2 yet, but
season 1 seemed weird and problematic. Like we're talking about. Is it Stacy?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I shouldn't interrupt you with my.
Well, I felt I've only seen a little bit of it, but the little bit I've seen, I can identify. Like I can feel the same feelings.
Okay, cool. So it did. It
did register.
Okay, cool. I didn't know where they were going for because just like everybody was picking on, and please explain it to me. Everybody was in the series in the first few episodes or the first season. The jocks are picking on. Is the character's name Stacy?
I think it's.
I only know what I'll say his name is later. Spoilers.
Actually, it's they.
They.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
In the second season?
Is it?
In the second season, I think
it's he.
I think they use masculine pronouns, but I mean the actor person it does use they. I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm told that. But the character, I don't know. Sometime in season 1, and I'm sorry to spoiler this for you a bit.
That's fine.
Their grandmother's ghost or great grandmother's ghost appears to them and says, "What a marvelous boy you are!"
Oh,
and that leads them on their trail to.
I would cry.
Oh, you will. That's one of the things you will probably. But it's just it seemed like the jocks were picking on this character who didn't really exhibit anything about being different. Like.
They did.
They did.
And
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm speaking from a place of ignorance.
Yeah, it was a very gender neutral type thing at the beginning, and as you see the season go on, they get more and more masculine.
Yeah. Okay.
As they get more comfortable with themselves.
Yes.
And their friend group is very protective of them about that, which is very good because they have a lot of really good character stereotypes. With the girls, like they're really well done.
Yeah. There's
from my perspective.
Yeah. Well, the show. To be clear, the show itself has
a lot of problems.
Yeah. Yeah. God. Like I'll say
it is not a good show by any means, but the way they handled this particular dynamic, I am pleased with.
Like I give up on shows easily, and we stayed through both seasons. Like the whole.
Someone told me Dorian Gray shows up in season 2, and I'm like, why the hell in this universe of all people would you bring in that character?
He's a witch.
No.
He has a deal with Satan.
He does have a deal with Satan. Oh God, is that the angle? Okay.
Okay. Right. Well, in the original story, he doesn't explicitly
have a deal with Satan.
It can be inferred through some of the things he says, like. When he's looking at the painting, going, "Boy, I wish this could be me forever."
True. Yeah.
And so many believe.
You couldn't say that in Edwardian England, or your book would get banned.
Oh, good point. Yeah, Oscar Wilde did end up died
a horrible, horrible death due to overlabor in prison because he got arrested for sodomy.
Yeah. I do hope that the story of his last words are true. I guess, what is it? Reportedly, his last words were either those drapes go or I go.
Yep.
I really want that to be true. Oh, God.
My namesake.
Yeah. Dorian Gray is in season 2. And
right.
He's just a warlock who has a deal with Satan.
Okay.
What the crap word? Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So the character, and I won't tell you what his name is later.
Okay. All right.
But I keep wanting to say Stacy. I just thought that the character, I'll say they, when they were still identifying as female, was just different in that they wore like masculine clothes. I'm like, my wife's from Vermont. I don't know why.
Well, there's an episode 2 or 3 episodes in where they take off their shirt and they're wearing a binder.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was probably playing on my phone at the time. I feel so shitty now. Thank you for that context.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will enjoy their journey in season 2 probably.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like one episode where it's a little problematic. I'll say probably. You'll again. It's
the way I see it.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. At least they're trying, and at least they're not failing horribly.
You should watch season 2.
Okay, gonna.
They're not failing horribly.
All right.
Is what I'm told.
All right.
I can't be an accurate judge, of course. 3 more questions.
All right.
That's cool. All right. Okay, think back to your transition.
Okay.
Take it in your mind. Imagine it as a montage.
Montage.
Montage!
Da, da, da,
What?
da. Synth pop, please.
All right. What song, ignoring all the synth pop, what song plays over top your montage?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of synth pop.
Okay, could be synth pop.
It's a David Bowie song. Probably Fashion.
Fashion.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hypothetical.
Yes.
This explodes on Tumblr.
Yeah.
We have, and people are like, yes, how can I be a part of this? If we could have the choice of anybody you want to be the narrator, who would you cast as the narrator?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. No. That's only because he's the only celebrity I haven't met that I really want to meet.
Okay, let's say he comes along, he drives the person that you want to be the narrator to a studio. And you let's say we get Robert Downey Jr. to be Professor Dad Joke,
Professor Dad Joke.
who is a cis male.
Okay. That's a good question. Who's good? There's not a really large pool of trans actors.
Yet.
Yet.
Well, I mean, there might be that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the industry.
It's true.
And the tamboring and the Huffman.
And there might be a lot of trans actors that we don't know about. Oh, incognito.
Sorry, you just got me wondering about Tyler Perry now, but that's probably unfair. That's probably very unfair of me to say.
Yeah.
I mean, you
never
can't
know.
be transvestive without being trans.
Yes, you can. I always wonder about Eddie Izzard because Eddie Izzard says that he's transgender, but I think he means transvestite.
I think.
Because I went to one of his shows, and all of his jokes didn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, he did have that whole spiel about being an action transvestite, running, jumping, climbing up trees, putting on makeup, all of that.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think there might actually be a debate in the community as to whether or not. I don't know. Or maybe there's a debate about whether there should be a debate.
Labels are rough.
They are.
Labels are rough.
I'll say in my brain, he's my current dream casting best because I've always wanted to work with Eddie.
I mean, he's the only actor I don't have signed on my Hannibal script.
Nice.
So let's say Eddie Izzard.
Okay, so who do you have on your Hannibal script, though?
Everyone else on the cast.
Everyone else, so that's
Mads Mikkelsen.
Hugh Dancy, nice. That there is enough, but keep going.
So all of the forensic scientists, so all of the comedians and forensic scientists. Hold on, we'll go down the list.
Oh, right. Who were those? Oh, Lawrence Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, shit, yeah.
His ex-wife, who's the...
Oh, Gina Torres?
Gina Torres, yeah. Gina Torres. She had already divorced him when she signed it, so she made a point to sign directly opposite of him on it.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm very sorry. And she's like, it's fine.
This is a Hannibal fan right here. Oh, how do you like American Gods?
I like it. It's very good. I like anything Brian Fuller does, honestly.
Yeah.
And I was very sad to hear that he and Anne Rice got into a fight and got off of my favorite fandom, because my favorite fandom is Vampire Chronicles, and he was all set to do the TV series for Vampire Chronicles, and then he and Anne Rice got in a fight, and now he's not doing it.
Oh.
But Anne Rice fights with everyone. So I haven't heard anything new about that recently, and I'm so mad because that's my favorite fandom.
I'm so sorry.
I just want my favorite.
Fuller does some amazing stuff. Oh, God. Pushing Daisies. Hannibal.
Pushing Daisies was so good.
So good.
Dead Like Me.
Wait, did he have anything to do with the new series of Unfortunate Events? Because it looks
I
so
don't think
Pushing
he
Daisies.
did. I don't think he
Like,
did.
I hate those books so much.
But the TV show's great.
I know, because it's got the NPH.
I think it's all.
Ugh.
I think it's all NPH actually.
And the Pushing Daisies, but dark aesthetic.
Yeah,
It's got a real Pushing
It's the
Daisies
Fuller
aesthetic.
palette.
Yeah, Fuller palette. Thanks. Oh my God, it's Pushing Daisies by way of Hannibal. You were saying. I'm sorry.
Anyway, but yeah, Eddie Izzard. Let's go with Eddie Izzard.
Let's go with Eddie Izzard, because God, that would be amazing, and I bet he could do poetry. But
Oh, he absolutely could.
yeah,
I've full believability that he could do absolutely anything he wanted to.
he can. Final question:
Very well.
does it get better?
Absolutely. That's that simple question, simple answer.
Well, thank you so much. We'll bring you in with your special fella and your special lady if you want to.
Absolutely.
We'll have a conversation on that too, and we'll be back when we have a final script or some more draft scripts. But hey, let's hear it
Looking forward to it.
Let's hear it for our Frankie the Magicorn.
Hey!
Dorian Michael Gray.
Nice! Yeah!
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us for Frankie the Podcast. For more on our Kickstarter and the animated short we're trying to produce, please visit www.frankieismagic.love. Our special guest was Dorian Michael Gray. This first batch of interviews were conducted by our producer and animation director, Sketch McQuinner. Intro music by Chicago-based musician Ronan Cohn. I'm Ronan Cohn. Spread the word and be your authentic self. Thanks so much.